Hello and welcome to video number 7 of our web developing tutorials. This video, we're going to do a little bit of image work just to show you how to link in images and how to set background images if you want. For this, I'm just going to use a simple open source image manipulation program called the GIMP. You can get it by going to www.gimp.org and then clicking download and then clicking the download GIMP 2.6.11. If that's the latest version, it'll have the latest version right here, and that'll let you download it for Windows. Next, we'll run the program and install it. So let's go through the wizard for installing, hit the install now button. GIMP's kind of like Photoshop in a way. It's not as powerful as Photoshop. Most people will say that. You can do just about anything you want to do with the GIMP. Sometimes it's a little harder to do with GIMP than it is with Photoshop, but it's great for making simple images. And I'll show you a little bit more about what I mean by that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and launch it. Okay, so we have GIMP started. GIMP consists of some toolbars, and it's more of a modular program than you may be used to. It's sort of like more of a Mac type program, whereas everything's in its own little window. But it'll do the job. So let's start off by creating a new, let's make it 800 by, let's say 200. And we'll just leave it as a default. So this is going to be, we're going to put this at the top of the background of the page. So let's make a gradient that is, let's just start with a gray. And we'll make a gradient that starts out with a gray at top and works its way down to a white. Make this straight. And now let's save that as, and we're going to save it on our desktop in that folder we created so that we can easily access it. We're going to name this background.jpg. We're just going to move the slider up to 100%. We're not worried about size at the moment, and that'll give us the best quality. So now we can close this one, and we'll create another one, another image, and this image is just going to have a width of 10 pixels and a height of about 20 pixels. Say OK to that, and we can make this window a little bigger, and if we hit the Alt button, or sorry, the Control button, and hold it down and scroll in, we'll be able to see it a lot better. For this, I want a transparent background, so let's create a new layer, and then delete this background layer, so that we have a transparent background. I'm going to switch these colors out and this gradient. I'm going to make the white the foreground. And for the gradient, I'm going to make it a foreground transparent. Now we're going to come to the top and come down and make our gradient just like so. And we're going to name this, we're going to save this as a PNG so that we can get the transparencies, but we'll name it highlight.png. And we'll just save it, and we can close out the GIMP. Now, let's go back to our notepad. So, in this heading, let's say that we wanted to have some, let me show you what we're going to do with it. On the heading, the color's set to orange right now, but let's change that back to white, or let's change it to black, and change the background color to orange. And let's come up here above the background color, and let's put a background image on this. Background image with a URL, and we're just going to say highlight.png here. Now, if we save that and refresh it, see we have a we've got that highlight in the background, but it doesn't look that good. So let's change the repeat on it. So we have background repeat. I just want it to repeat on the x-axis. I don't want it to repeat up and down. So let's do a repeat x. So now you see you have a little white up on the top there as a gradient background. You really can't see it very well because of the white background, so let's change the background for the whole body. We're going to add our highlight, our background. So we'll do the same thing here, background image URL, and this is that background.jpg that we created. And see, it's repeating as well. We just want it to repeat on the x-axis. So we do a repeat x on it as well. And now we have that. So now you can see there's a highlight on that heading, and there's a highlight, there's a background. That looks pretty cool. But I mean, it doesn't look beautiful, but it shows you how to use images in that way. So why don't we go grab us a logo just for the fun of it. Go to images.google.com. And let's grab a generic logo. And let's say that this first one here, let's just say we want to add that to our page. Let's save that image to our desktop web dev folder. We're going to change that. Actually, we need to cancel that and go back over here and actually pull it from the page itself. Or maybe that's not a good example. Let's try a different one. Let's do this one. Save this as, that's a JPEG. Okay, so we're good to go on that. JPEG image. Let's just change this to logo, the name of it, to logo, or Lou, if you will. Just have to remember not to type logo there. And in our HTML, let's say right before the headings we want to add that logo. So let's do an image tag with a source equal to loo.jpg. And in HTML we need to put an alt tag. This is going to be our logo. We just say that just describes the image itself. And this is a self-closing tag. And let's go back to our page. Now we have our logo up here at the top. And we can actually link to something, but I'll show you that in just a second. Let's say we want this, we want to add a link to this. This is a link. Okay. The link itself, or the word link, is going to be our link. So let's surround that with an A tag, which is an anchor tag. We'll give it an href of http://google.com. And then we close the opening tag, and we're going to close the tag itself. We encapsulate the link, the word of the link, or the words of the link in the A tag. So now we have a link down here on the paragraph, and that link will take us to Google. Now we can also make this thing open up in a new on a new page. We can say target equals blank, which means it'll open up a blank page for that. So now if we click on it, it'll open up in a new tab. Let's surround that image with an anchor tag, and we're going to point it to the actual picture itself. And the reason I'm showing you this is so that you can see how to do relative links versus explicit links. So this is a relative link. So relative to this document, the image is in the same directory, so we can just link straight to that image, just like that. We don't have to type the http:// and all that. We still need to put well, no, we don't for this. So then, after the image tag itself, we can close the A tag. So now, if we look at this, if we click this, it'll now take us to the picture itself. So that's a little bit about images and how to use them for backgrounds and how to control the repeating of it. That'll come in handy later. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe.